I don't really like the Conservatives. I don't hide it very well. All of this is based on true stories. I remember the stories but not the punchlines, so this could be interesting. Essentially, I went to a protest march recently. I realised that, you know, when I say protest march, it's now May, and it's been April in the meantime. But I think it's still counted, so I'm going to take that. Pretty much, you know, I'm sick of the Tories, I'm sick of all the cuts that are implementing, see shit like the bedroom tax and all that kind of stuff, and nobody's getting any money, it's shit. It's got to the stage now, if I meet a girl in the bar, I'll be like, do you want to come back to my place? And, you know, do you want to come back to my place? And, you know, do you want to come back to my place and help contribute to the rent? So on the back of this, right, I was annoyed, and I did what everybody who's annoyed does, and I went online and typed about how annoyed I was, because, you know, fuck doing anything actual. So I went onto Twitter, and I just went, could one of you do me a favour and hit that cunt Cameron in the face with a shovel? Maybe a couple of times, quite hard. So that was it, and I sent it out to my 340 followers. I don't know why 340 people follow me, I'm not that interesting. But yeah, so I just went, could one of you hit that cunt Cameron in the face with a shovel? And it got retweeted, that is forwarded on by my wee cousin. Now that's fine, my wee cousin, she's Scottish, she can vote, she fucking hates him too. It also got retweeted by a guy who said, Derek Mackay, MSP. Well, I've never heard of this cunt, I don't know who it is, but I know what an MSP is. Like, first of all, maybe that's a spoof account. You know, when anything happens in the news, you know, somebody says like Cat Bin Lady or the new Pope, something like that. So I was like, maybe it's a spoof account, and then I seen the wee blue verified tick. I was like, this guy's for real. I was like, are they allowed to do that? Are people in Parliament allowed to go, yes, I agree, we should hit other members of Parliament in the face with shovels. More of this. So, yeah, I did what anyone else would do in that situation, going, that's a bit unusual, so I took a screen grab, it's on my blog, if anybody wants to have a look, I'll send you, you can have a look, it's fine. Like I say, there were punchlines, but fuck it, this is just storytelling now. So, but the next day, and I'm looking online, I'm going, just telling somebody as you would, you go, oh yeah, I said somebody hit Cameron in the face with a shovel, and it could be tweeted by an MSP, is that normal? And he went, show us, and I was like, it's been deleted, he must have changed his mind maybe. And the next thing I got a message from a pal saying, have you seen the Daily Record today? You're in it. What are you talking about? Page 4 of the Daily Record, and it just says, Derek Mackay, MSP, retweets comic Jordan Mills. This is brilliant for two reasons. Firstly, the Daily Record says I'm a comic, right? So exactly. There can never be any doubt about my comedic prowess from now on. I can go fuck off, the record says I'm funny. Which is paraphrasing, but it's fine. And the other thing as well is that nobody can ever accuse me of sending abusive tweets, because they can go, the guy's like, look, he says he's a comedian, so it was obviously just a joke, fucking can yourself. And that was it. I was like, there was no, like they printed what I'd said and they printed my username and nobody wrote to me and said, you shouldn't have said that wasn't very nice. So, alright. So it was a bit of a fucking letdown. So there I was, like a week later, and I'm just like, I'm thinking about this and I'm going, do you know what, I've written quite a lot of things in my life. I've written pantomimes, I've written fucking plays and scripts, and I've written jokes. I didn't use any of them tonight, but you know, I don't want to waste a good time. But I've written lots of stuff, poetry, lyrics, all kinds of shit. 250 blogs, some of them funny, some of them just about gigs I've done, because, you know, comedians want attention and all that kind of shit. And but the one thing that I get picked up on and printed is me just going, yeah, could we have some casual violence perhaps? Would that be alright? I was like, no, I think I'm better than this. And one of my pals, she works for the Scottish Government, and I've told some of these about her before, right, because she once told me that working for the Scottish Government, they made a conference called to China. And I like to think that it went something like, hello China, this is Scotland. See your shops, never let a bull loose in them because it will be fucking carnage. So she gets in touch with me, my pal working for the Scottish Government, and she went, did you see First Minister's questions this week? I didn't know First Minister's questions was a thing. I'm not, you know, as much as I'm quite political in some ways I'm just ignorant. It's probably not a good combination. Anyway, I look in First Minister's questions and I see a thing from Ruth Davidson, MSP, who's the leader of the Scottish Conservatives, who's questioned Alex Salmond in the Scottish Parliament and said, it's not really on, the members of your party are, you know, kind of retweeting the desire to hit David Cameron in the face with a shovel. in the most insulting of terms. I was like, first, that's kind of funny, I thought. But yeah, just the fact that, the most insulting of terms is that cunt is not an offensive term. The most offensive term is the one being served by this current government. This is where half the political blood gets, right? But considering what I said, right, considering the nature of offence, firstly, I've asked anybody to just hit the Prime Minister in the face. I've called him a cunt. You would think, some people would think that's offensive, either of those would be offensive. But I'd also written a thing where I went, you show me somebody that likes David Cameron, I'll show you somebody that probably lives in the south of England. And I got a message on the blog from somebody just going, I think you're inciting racial hatred with that. So, is it possible to incite racial hatred against half a country? It's like, surely you have to do that. Unless there's a strict geopolitical divide like in Korea, right, you can south, north, there's a clear divide. But you go to the south of England, it's a district. And besides which, if I was going to be racist against English people, it's like, right, do you base it on where they were born, where they live, what accent they've got, where they work? Immediately there's too many questions. I'm a lazy cunt, I'm not prepared to put this effort in. Fuck it, being not racist is just easier. Fuck it, so I'm not racist. And besides which, like, everything I write online is very carefully worded, heavily edited. I don't think people are going, I fucking hate the English, I'm going to battle right cunts. I don't think they're either going to be swayed or deterred by anything I've happened to fucking write online. So, man, don't take advice from me, I don't take my own advice. Or I wouldn't be here. So, anyway, so essentially after all of that nothingness, I decided I needed to take more direct action, so I put a shirt on, fuck the Tories written on the back of it. I was like, I'll go out marching. People take photos of this quite a lot, which is fine because my back's my best side. There are quite a lot of photos taken. I'm just glad that I can deal with this level of interest or disinterest. Like, see if I'd tweeted something about like Robin Hood Airport, that would have blown up sky high. So topical 2 years ago. Essentially, like when Cameron came into Glasgow, like 2 days after that, there was a hurried protest down in Govan. I was like, fucking, I can do this, so I'm off. When he was elected, or kind of elected, like as well, no, he wasn't really elected. But I had eggs that were out of date in my fridge, and I was like, I'm going to pill that cunt with eggs. But they were there for 6 months, 6 months out of date. Eventually I moved flat 2 years after, like, I had to chuck them and all that kind of stuff. It turned out Cameron took so long to come to Glasgow, he was a bigger chicken than the cunt that laid those eggs. So, anyway, somebody was down at the protest, and I will end on this, but someone was down at the protest and they're holding a big sign in the street which just says, honk if you think David Cameron's a cunt. Right, they're standing at a roundabout with this big sign saying, honk if you think David Cameron's a cunt, and there's a big pole that's going, can you take that sign down please? And meanwhile all the traffic is passing is going, beep, 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 beep. And on that note, see you.